In our efforts to help improve student remediation surrounding the ISTEP Plus Grade 10 exam, the IDOE has put together the following video on how to gather additional information on student deficiencies based on ISTEP Plus Grade 10 assessment scores. This video will show you how to align student IPI data with state standards and build a meaningful plan for students that focuses on gathering additional evidence for remediation on areas of weakness within the ISTEP Plus Grade 10 assessments. In order to build successful remediation practices, it is important to first understand exactly what information the score report gives you. The image on the right side of your screen is a grade 10 math score report with IPI strands. The first thing that stands out is that the student did not pass, which is what is identified inside the red circle at the top of the report and also noted on the speedometer. Now what we want to know is why did the student not pass? This brings us to the blue square. Inside the blue square, we have the student's IPI data. With this data, we can see exactly what areas the student struggled in and begin to build a plan for the student based on that data. IPI is an approximation of success if the student were to receive 100 items of this type of content. As we can see by strand, the student struggled in number sense, expressions and computation, geometry and measurement, data analysis, statistics and probability, quadratic and exponential equations and functions. The next step is to figure out which Indiana academic standards align to these reporting categories. Now we will navigate to the ISTEP Plus Grade 10 Items Blueprint and Specifications page. We will start at the Indiana Department of Education's home page. You will scroll down and under Popular Pages you will see Student Assessment. Once inside Student Assessment, we will click on High School Assessment. Once inside High School Assessment, we will enter the ISTEP Plus Grade 10. Once inside the ISTEP Plus Grade 10, we will focus on the For Educators section, Test Design, and here's where you will find Blueprints and Item Specifications for the ISTEP Plus Grade 10. The math blueprint tells us that number sense is in between 11 and 21% of the exam. Geometry is in between 4 and 14% of the exam. Data analysis is in between 9 and 19% of the exam. And quadratic equations is in between 5 and 15% of the exam. So we have some options here. We want to focus on the areas that are likely to be the bulk of test material. We know our best chances are with number sense and data analysis. Now that we know what areas the student needs to be successful on, it is time to focus on how the student can be successful. We want to know what type of questions the student will be asked and what the student will be expected to do. You can find this information on the Item Specifications page. Item specifications serve as a resource to clarify how standards are being assessed. We can use these to understand what the questions on the ISTEP will be asking the students to actually do. Referring back to the score report, we know the areas that we want to focus on are number sense and data analysis. Now let's find those standards on the item specification sheet. Number sense. We know the student will be asked to understand the hierarchy and relationships of numbers and sets of numbers within the real number system. Students will also be expected to explain why the sum or product of two rational numbers is rational, that the sum of a rational number and an irrational number is irrational, and that the product of a non-zero rational number and an irrational number is irrational. We also have sample items that are given. Now let's try to find data analysis. Under data analysis, we know that students would be expected to distinguish between random and non-random sampling methods, identify possible sources of bias in sampling, describe how such bias can be controlled and reduced, evaluate the characteristics of a good survey and well-designed experiment, design simple experiments or investigations to collect data to answer questions of interest, and make inferences from sample results. There is a sample item given. Items that you may use in the classroom as formative components should mirror the cognitive complexity highlighted in the sample stems or items. As a reminder, schools are required to offer retest windows during each defined time frame to students. Schools are required to offer remediation in advance of the retest windows. For questions regarding program implementation, contact me, Terrell Berry. For specific contact questions, contact Aaron or Christine for additional assistance.